I don't know that that's necessarily true. I don't.
Barrett's still 10 years older than me.
Happy birthday, Zach.
Happy birthday, Zach, a.k.a. Solo. It's your boy.
If I had an appropriate way to celebrate your birthday, because May 17th, let's be honest, it's kind of it's a pretty bland day.
He's like, it's an excellent day.
It has a 7 in it. 17, that's a lucky number, my
17 is my lucky number, so yeah.
7 is my lucky, and I got it, man.
That's crazy. 17 is my lucky number.
I know you took it in softball. I was upset.
Well, I didn't take it in softball. It's already
on my birthday.
You took it to me because I was your lucky number.
Does it happen to be on a Wednesday? Sure. Is it the first birthday that is celebrated on the podcast? Sure.
Until
The All About Nothing podcast may have language and content that isn't appropriate for some. Listener discretion is advised. Recorded live from Podcast Studio at GOT Sound Studio in Lexington, South Carolina. This is the All About Nothing podcast with Barrett Gruber, Zach King, and Trent Clark.
All right, welcome back to the All About Nothing podcast. I'm Barrett Gruber, joined by Trent Clark and Zach King. Here we are. Welcome, fellas.
Welcome. Salutations.
Hey, I guess before we get started, we did talk about it in the opening, but it is Zach's birthday. He is celebrating his 35th.
That's it.
35th birthday. Congratulations.
35 trips around the world, man.
Trent, you weren't here in the 80s, but it was a good time.
Was it?
Well, Barry, we know you would know what the 80s was like.
I'll be completely honest. I don't remember a lot of the 80s, but I don't remember a lot like before the age of 12. Yeah. Well, I take that back. Probably 10. I don't remember much.
I remember like kindergarten for me.
Dude, I for real remember being like 6.
Yeah, I have a hard time drawing back to that. But hey, just to get the business. Yeah, happy birthday, Zach.
Happy birthday, man.
Big 35.
Drove go-karts today like I was 5.
So you didn't find the middle of the road? Oh, you mean, you enjoyed it like you were 5, not like you were actually a 5-year-old driver.
Both.
No, I don't know how that experience happens, but yeah.
Definitely both.
Please subscribe to the show. Subscriptions drive our searches. That's how we get new listeners. Also, please consider supporting the show financially by visiting patreon.com/theallaboutnothing. And to make it easy for you, we've put a link at the top of our website, theallaboutnothing.com. Check out details there. Also, if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts and you think we're worth it, go ahead and give us a review and punch up one of those 5 stars for us. And if you're not on Apple, give us a review there. You can share the episode with your family and friends, or follow us on Twitter at AAN_pod, or on Facebook at All About Nothing US, and interact. Just search for The All About Nothing podcast and visit our website for links, theallaboutnothing.com. So that out of the way, shout outs. Big thanks to Ami from the Welcome to Wonderland podcast, who took over the show last week, episode number 155.
She did great.
She was educating and informing us all about UFOs and aliens.
So that was a good time.
That was a good time. And we found out chickens can fly.
We did not. Also, shout out to John Kosis and the Columbia Fireflies for his update. You can get all of the information you can handle from ColumbiaFireflies.com. Again, I wrote it in my notes. Happy birthday, Zach.
Thank you. Somehow, Trent bolstered his belief that chickens can fly.
He did is he made a false claim that we all agreed to it, and now we're gonna have a hard time coming back from that.
Man,
they fly like parachuters fly.
Yeah, exactly. They are suspended in the air for a little bit, and
that's still flight.
Well, by definition, you are correct. That is flight.
Technically, we found out last week, so don't play with me.
That's falling with grace, right?
Yeah.
Hey, that's not
a fall from grace.
I
let us know.
I wanted to, please
put it in the comments.
Yeah, put it in the comments, or email us the show at theallaboutnothing.com.
Can chickens fly or not?
Can chickens fly and can turkeys fly?
2 of us up here don't actually believe that chickens fly.
I've never seen a turkey fly, but I've seen a chicken fly.
Turkeys fly.
I've seen turkeys fly.
Yeah, I've seen turkeys fly.
Okay.
Like they didn't come down off something and keep going. They went up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never seen a chicken go up.
There was lift.
Yeah.
I've seen lift, but we ain't got to talk about it. We ain't got to talk about it.
Hey, so did y'all hear about one of the first forts, army bases in the United States has officially been renamed? And was it
after a racist general?
Yeah. Well, so it was named after a racist general. Now it's named after actually a couple. So let me tell you about
a couple.
Welcome to Fort Obama.
Yeah, formerly named after Harry Lewis Benning, a general in the Confederate.
I thought say Harriet Tubman.
Yeah, Confederate State Army, and very pro-slavery. Fort Benning was one of the 10 U.S. Army installations named for Confederate generals than was named for General Benning more than 50 years after the Civil War. So it's not like the Civil War ended and they were like, oh, let's honor him by naming the Army fort after him. No, they waited 50 years. The National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 2021 passed over an attempted veto by President Donald Trump because Donald Trump wants more of the Army bases to be named after Confederate generals. Includes a provision that all 10 Army bases that have been named after prominent Confederate military leaders must be renamed. The congressionally mandated naming convention on August 8th, 2022.
Naming convention?
Yeah, that's the commission. Naming commission. Sorry, naming commission.
Okay.
On August 8th, 2022, issued a recommendation that Fort Benning be named Fort Moore after Lieutenant General Hal Moore and his wife Julia Compton Moore, both of whom are buried on post, and as are Julia's parents. So on October 6, 2022, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin accepted the recommendation and directed the name change occur no later than January 1st, 2024. The Army base is now named after Lieutenant General Moore and his wife. So it's Fort Moore, named after both of them.
And it was named what?
It was named Fort Benning. Down there, it's southwest of Atlanta as you're heading towards Alabama is where Fort Benning is.
What if the original dude
Moore.
was like, he's like, yeah, guys, don't name this after me. He's like, I don't believe in slavery, but a paycheck's a paycheck. He's like, I got black friends.
Well, Lieutenant General Moore, this is designed to honor modern day military hero, but also the wife. It's also designed because, as a lot of the listeners know, if you are in the military, you let's say Trent, you're in the military.
Mm-hmm.
You and Nikki are married, and essentially she is also in the military.
Correct.
Because it is a full-time, I mean, not job, but it is you are both, it is military life. That is it.
She gets the same benefits I get.
So the idea is that with renaming the fort after Lieutenant General Moore and his wife, that it's honoring the whole idea of the fact that the family is very much part of the military, not just the actual enlisted or the ones that are officers, that sort of thing.
His whole family is buried there. The
Yeah.
grandparents and them, like that's kind of, I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And honestly, I support any aspect of the naming commission changing the names of any of these Confederately named forts and military outposts and installations, because why do you name shit after the losers?
To remember, you know how that goes.
You don't. It's in a history book.
That's why the flag was still waving. We had to remember.
You don't. Are you just playing devil's advocate?
No, I'm saying like that's what they would say. Like,
that's their answer.
Yeah, you have to remember the heritage.
That's bullshit.
Yeah,
Germany remembers Hitler, and they got rid of all of that.
Yeah. The only place you really find a lot of that Hitler stuff is here in the United States.
I'm pretty sure that like Germany would be like, can we just like bulldoze Auschwitz?
If only that was an option.
You guys really need to have it around.
If you see Auschwitz now, it's set up basically as a living memorial to the Jews that were killed there. So that's why
I'm pretty sure most of the Jews are like, better ways to remember us. Fucking Auschwitz.
This might be a dumb question.
maybe reparations.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
This might be, yeah, for real. This might be a dumb question, but does the military pay taxes on land?
Yeah. Well, through the Defense Department.
Okay.
Yeah, if they were to go to buy something, they still have to pay.
So technically,
it's kind of like
if they bury people there, like how New Jersey has their law, is that
I'm sure it's the
It's a
same
legitimate
application.
cemetery, not just one that was put on a pamphlet or a flyer and distributed.
I'm just saying.
Yes, Trent, I think that the rule still applies.
Okay.
Yeah. It's.
I think they get the same breaks and they would get the same tax.
Okay.
Speaking of New Jersey cemeteries that probably aren't really cemeteries.
Mm-hmm.
There she is, lying in peace with.
So we didn't talk about it last week because, of course, Ami was here with the Welcome to Wonderland.
Correct.
But Donald Trump was found liable for sexual assault.
Yeah, man.
I didn't do it. I saw her and I said no.
And what a dog. He's still running.
Well, of course, he's not going to not run.
Well, and she was awarded $5 million.
Yeah. So
She'll never get it.
A Manhattan
She
jury.
will, though.
She'll never get it.
A Manhattan jury found former President Donald Trump liable for sexually abusing and defaming E. Jean Carroll, She was awarded $5 million in damages, and currently there are more than a dozen women claiming that Trump sexually assaulted or abused them in his nearly 8 decades of existence.
What's crazy is that during one of the depositions, they showed a picture of Trump, excuse me, with his wife and E. Jean Carroll there.
Yeah.
And he pointed to, what's her name?
Marla. He pointed to E. Jean Carroll in the picture, and that was Marla Maples.
Yeah, and he's like, "That's her.
That's my wife.
That's my wife." And they're like, "No." He's like, "I might have raped."
That's messed up.
Well, I mean, if you hear him tell the story, so first of all, he claims he's never met this woman before. He has no idea who she is.
There's a fucking picture.
Yeah, there's a picture with the two of them.
She wasn't really memorable for him.
But see, that's what he does with Epstein too. Like
he couldn't differentiate her and his wife.
Yeah, which is why he should be president. But like if you hear him then tell the story of what happened between the two of them after claiming already that he didn't know who she was, he had never met her before, but then he went to describe how when they were in this department store that E. Jean Carroll went around looking for a dressing room that was unlocked so that they could go into the dressing room together and whatnot. So
remembered a whole lot more after that.
Yeah, he's basically describing the same thing that she described, except that, from her perspective, it was him being sexually abusive and whatever. And
I've never seen her. JC's Penney's was really full that day.
But how do you legitimately argue against any sort of being guilty or liable for this situation when first you say you have no idea who she is, but then you're like, oh yeah, well now I remember, and she was the one looking for the dressing room.
Well, Barry, that's anybody that's on trial. They're gonna lie.
Yeah, but he also shit all over the person. He's like, yeah, you're an evil piece of shit too.
Yeah,
you're
he did go crazy.
Bro, why? What the
oh yeah,
fuck
the interviewer.
You're gonna sabotage me.
Well, so the federal jury of 6 men and 3 women found that Miss Carroll, 79, a former magazine writer, had sufficiently proved that Donald Trump sexually abused her nearly 30 years ago in a dressing room of a department store in Manhattan.
And used the clip that he did with old Billy Boy during it. Like, he's like, I don't do that. And then they're like, oh, well, here, just in case we all missed it, you can come up on him like a bitch.
Yeah.
They let you do anything you want. Mm-hmm. Like, we all saw that. And they're like, just a reminder that he clearly thinks this is okay.
Yeah, it is also important to note that the jury did not find that he had raped her. As she had actually.
Yeah, so don't say that again,
claimed.
Zach. We can get sued.
He
sexually assaulted her.
Yeah, he did not rape her. Now, in Trump's defense, his lawyers called no witnesses, and he never actually appeared at the trial. Prior to letting the jury convene to render a decision, Trump threw his thumbs into the Truth Social to say that the trial was unfair and that he had never been given an adequate amount of time to defend himself in person. So the judge
he
then
used
said,
that time to shit on people.
Yeah, so basically then the judge goes, oh, well, you want to come testify? All right, well, then we will move back the date, and basically gave him till like 7 p.m. on a Sunday to finally show up and go ahead and give his testimony, which he did leave Ireland and headed back to the United States, but made a beeline to Mar-a-Lago where he hid out for the foreseeable future.
He pulled a hermit crab.
Yeah, essentially.
I'm going back to my shell when there's no rape charges.
But the reaction from the right on this is basically, well, yeah, he was found liable for sexually assaulting her and basically defaming her character over the course of the trial, but he didn't rape her. That's the line.
We don't have. At least we don't have to hear Tucker Carlson explain it.
Oh, we will.
Oh, you will. He's on Twitter.
Once he's on his Twitter,
he goes live on Twitter.
Yeah, but he's kind of like Kirby. His mouth is open while he breathes.
I'm so surprised he went to Twitter, though.
Really? Why? Like, Elon Musk is a big racist, so Twitter seems like the appropriate place for.
But everybody would have thought he would have went to.
Oh, Elon Musk is super racist.
Everybody would have just thought he was going to like YouTube.
His family. You know how his family made all their money, right?
Yeah,
he's never actually made like a. He's not really done anything to make money from start. Like, he's never had a job. And I know people are going to dispute this, that he's the CEO and he does all this other stuff, but his money came from the fact that they literally had black people working in mines for blood diamonds and gems.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I don't know if I can categorize him as a racist.
Oh, yeah. I will defame him by saying that I believe that he is racist.
Fair enough. I don't
This is when Twitter will put something under your profile and say, "Hey, this is not facts. Such and such happened."
He doesn't.
I don't know that Twitter.
You know how they do? They be going crazy on Twitter.
Elon Musk is in the process of distributing not blue check marks to the racists, but the bars and stripes for the racists underneath their Twitter profile images.
Oh, okay.
I think that'd be an appropriate way to go.
I mean, he definitely has a problem with not silencing racists, which is
he loves it.
It's free speech, man.
It's well, it's not necessarily about free speech. It's about making sure that the speech that is being attempted to be squashed is given more popularity and light.
So that's we're calling that guilty by association.
Yeah, I'll say he's guilty by. I'm sorry, Elon Musk is a shithead. He's not done anything. He's not an innovator.
I'll drive a Tesla.
I don't like Elon anymore. I used to, and then he comes out just speaking like a complete dick. Like I don't get that at all.
He was on Bill Maher before the writers' strike, and he was commenting on how children are indoctrinated in schools, because the idea is that there is this belief on the right that when children go in and are taught things about history, that they're also taught to have some sort of empathy or emotional feeling about the history that they're learning. And
really, I didn't get that in my class.
Because it's not a thing.
You're like naturally that slavery wasn't fucking.
Because none of the teachers didn't sugarcoat shit. They're like, hey,
it's not a thing.
You were black. You probably would have been a slave back in the day.
To me, it's the same argument that there are men athletes who think that the only way for them to be better in a sport is for them to transition into females.
Oh man, you're on a touchy subject right now.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't think that's a thing. I don't think that there are men out there that are like, I suck at swimming, so let me become a woman. I think it's
you're actually talking about an actual athlete though.
I think that dude did that.
But I'm saying,
in that case, I definitely believe, because he was 60th in the men's, and then you're number one in women. So you're explaining exactly what this person is doing.
I'm explaining what happened, but I don't think that his reason to become a she was because she sucked at swim, or she was 60th in the nation in swimming.
You thought she really just wanted to be a woman and
yes.
I don't think so.
Okay, let me ask you something.
Not with that situation.
So let's say you were on the verge of being the greatest male, not the greatest. Let's say you were on the verge of being an adequate NBA star.
Okay.
But you were not going to make the team, or you were not going to make the starting lineup
because
you weren't tall enough, or there was whatever. But you go, well, you know what? I'll sure enough cut off my dick and I'll go play on the WNBA. Mm-hmm. So you're saying that you'd be willing, that's something you...
No.
I wouldn't do it either, but I also wouldn't go pay someone to hit someone's fucking kneecap, because I'm not going to be the best skater if I don't.
But that's what I'm... Okay, but they were like 1 and 2. We're not... what we're describing with the woman that's the swimmer was, she went from 63rd as a man to first in the nation as a woman, but like her records are almost like they're almost breaking her records just with not her. With there are women that are now swimming better than she was.
So you saying she is motivating other women to get better? Is what you're saying?
That is the whole idea behind equality for women's athletes.
Hell no! If I got a daughter and she got to compete against a grown ass man, hell no, that's not gonna. Baby, you're not physically. There's no way your bone structure is gonna make you faster, because you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't happen. Like,
there are women
in that case. It's just too much in the red for that person. Like, if she had never swam before and then became a swimmer and then became number one swimmer, that makes sense. But you were already swimming for the male team already.
Yeah.
So then you transition to the woman team, and now you're first. So yeah, I'm gonna look at you a little different,
right?
Only because you have already played the sport. You had already said, hey, I want to be on the men's team. And then all of a sudden, you felt like you needed to change. I have no problem with the change. But then you came over to the women, and now you're number one. So it just looks a little funny in the light. That's all I'm saying.
But do you believe the motivation behind him changing to her was specifically so she could win a national championship?
Yeah, because I really don't think she was getting that much notoriety from being 63rd.
But do you think that's what she was going for, was notoriety?
she had to be going for something.
Well, see, and then it brings it to mind, which isn't cool, but I'm going to say it.
Because why not come in second?
How dedicated are they? Did they go full operations and everything?
Yeah.
That person really did?
Well, no, that I don't know. But let's just say hypothetically, let's say that the individual goes full operation. They invert everything.
Yeah.
They take the.
That's some dedication. I wouldn't blame them then.
But they're already. But my problem with the situation, like, okay, like it's pills and stuff out there for, like, you know, like, let's say for instance, like Dwayne Wade's child, like she's in transition to be, you know, full girl. So she probably taking pills that, you know, that give, like, the women stuff. That,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
Estrogen
and stuff like that.
Cuts down on your testosterone.
You're a grown ass man, and you've already reached your peak in age. Like, so you're already at peak male.
Do you, like,
already
from now on? Do you, like, take blood samples and measure, like, a threshold that you expect from cisgendered women?
That's what's going to happen. Even cisgendered women are going to wind up being harassed to the point, because ultimately what this is that there are old white men that just don't want women competing in sports.
And you're not pecker checking everybody, so they're going to have to take blood.
By basically attacking trans athletes, they are creating the opportunity that every woman is going to have to be tested for every single sport, and that's the whole idea. Is let's delegitimize women's athletics and
aren't men's sports tested a lot?
No.
Yeah, I'll probably end up in a jail cell at some point having a fight.
But that's how they called Neil Armstrong, by testing.
Well, when he went on the moon,
I mean, not Neil, Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, but that's because the biking, the whatever, the world.
And then baseball, that's how they got caught, because they were testing.
Yeah, but they're testing for specific drugs.
Though. He was fresh blooding himself.
Yeah, but
but we don't call that harassment, though. We just call that they're just testing. So that technically would just be testing.
Because if so using steroids in baseball was cheating.
Mm-hmm.
That it was considered cheating. All the players believed it to be cheating because it delegitimized what some athletes did.
Correct.
Barry Bonds, fucking cheater. Mark McGwire, fucking cheater. Sammy Sosa, all three
Jose
of them.
Canseco.
Yeah, all of them are cheaters.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that I'll give any grace to was Andy Pettitte, who didn't do anything amazing when he was on steroids. He was just able to continue pitching for the Yankees, which was what he wanted, and he fully admitted. He said, "Yeah, I took human growth hormone so that I could continue doing the thing that I enjoyed doing. It didn't hurt anybody." But you got Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa and Barry Bonds that go out there and break the home run records against somebody Hank Aaron, who did it legitimately. Babe Ruth, who did it fucking drunk.
Okay, so what you're saying, they had an edge on people.
Yeah.
And they were cheating. Me and Zach are saying the guy has an edge on the girls because he was already fully grown male.
And that's not my argument. My argument isn't that.
I'm just saying that's my argument about the whole situation. Like, that's why I don't see it as fair.
So and I agree that
like I feel like if you want to compete in women's sports, you have to start off. I mean, I know everybody doesn't transition or have the money to transition at young ages, but I feel like they should be they should start young so you can, like, you know, get the female stuff that you need and estrogen and all that, so you can be on the same level as the women, because other than that, it's going to be people that have way more advantages if they come out as a grown man and then you're competing in women's sports. Like, right now, let's say for instance a male baseball player transitioning into a woman and he wants to start playing professional softball. I know it's not professional softball out there, but what I'm saying, if he would come over there, people would be looking like, what?
Well, there's
that's crazy. Like, he's hitting home runs.
Gonna have an Amanda Judge.
Yeah,
so there is no restriction. There is no restriction on women playing baseball.
Correct.
Women could make Major League Baseball the same as men can. It's just that it's been so controlled by men for the last 150 years that's just sort of the way it is.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, I've seen YouTube videos of female fastball or fast pitch softball striking out Major League Baseball players.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll tell you right now, South Carolina is a female bullpen catcher, and at the moment with South Carolina's trajectory, put her out there.
Facts.
So, but no, my argument.
How much y'all black pitcher?
Catcher.
No, she's a catcher.
Oh, black catcher. That's right.
But my argument isn't that there is an advantage. There is absolutely an advantage to a pre-adolescent or an adolescent or adult male who plays sports and transitions to women. There is definitely an advantage in strength, probably speed. It definitely exists. My argument is that I don't think that there is anyone out there that is purposely transitioning themselves completely to a woman so that they can be the premier athlete in whatever sport.
I guess the way too, you watch the little League World Series and you see Phillip come out on the mound and homeboy is supposed to be 9 and has a fucking mustache.
Yeah,
and he's 6'2".
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, Phillip. You 45. What's going on,
Phillip
here?
Esquire.
Did you see that one case though? I think it's like in Florida where the guy, or maybe it was in another country, where the guy was having custody battle with his girlfriend or his wife, and he transitioned to a girl to make it better for him so he could get his kid, and it actually worked.
Really? No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, we got to look it up, but yeah,
That poor kid.
that's
Jesus
legit.
Christ.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's legit what happened.
So
People have all kind of reasons why they do
yeah.
it. We never know.
Yeah, and there's besides our dickheaded discussion on it.
Correct. There's all guys talking. So
we're not gonna have an answer for any of it.
Of course
it's
not.
Just you're gonna feel how you're gonna feel. Don't be a dick about it.
Yeah.
Be open to hearing what the other ones are, the other explanations, and
correct.
let's move forward.
So I wanna play a highlight from the Trump CNN.
Please welcome the
debate.
frontrunner for the Republican nomination.
These are
for
5 of the
President
highlights,
Donald
the key
Trump.
moments from this Trump town hall that occurred.
Nice.
Look at that
People say I walk like a penguin.
That's a hell of a tie.
Frankenstein.
I'm the best penguin you've ever seen. My little hands.
Somebody said he looks a little thinner.
Standing ovations. Standing ovations.
Does he?
No.
They were standing.
This motherfucker's looked the same for the last 5 years.
So these are just some of the highlights from
President
this.
Trump, thank you for your time here tonight. We got a great crowd here in New Hampshire, a lot of voters with a lot of questions about what your 2024 term would look like.
Pardon.
I just before we go on, I just want to make one comment about the fact that that audience, Trump's campaign staff basically filled the audience and then also picked all of the audience.
Like he should, Barrett. That's good for ratings.
You know how many MAGA they have like a big box full of MAGA hats.
Everybody's gonna leave with a MAGA hat.
No, they had to take the MAGA hats off of them. Like, you're not gonna look at a bunch of fucking hillbillies in here, okay?
You can see the farmer shirts, the plaid shirts in the back.
Look at the one guy with the plaid shirt. Yeah, he just got off the tractor. Right?
Facts.
So here we go.
The January 6 rioters who were convicted of federal.
Oh, did we
offenses.
speed past something?
I
No,
am
it's just-
inclined to pardon
segments.
many of them. I can't say for every single one because a couple of them probably they got out of control. But, when you look at Antifa, what they've done to Portland, and if you
Bullshit.
look at Antifa, look at
It's
what they've
called a
done
straw
to
man.
Minneapolis and so many other places. Look at what they did to Seattle and BLM. Many people were killed.
Oh,
These people, I'm
Lord.
not trying to justify anything.
No, that's
But
exactly
you have
what you're
two
doing.
standards of justice. You cannot
He
get.
built a straw man.
Yeah, essentially that's what he did. Was
Created an argument that has nothing to do with the point and knocked it down.
Yeah, so essentially the question was, you've said that you're going to pardon everybody that was involved in the January 6th that's been convicted, and he said, yeah, basically, I plan on pardoning.
Yeah,
all of them.
well, not all of them because some of them got out of hand. But can you think what Antifa did?
Yeah.
As he built his straw man. What about BLM? You see this motherfucker? Pow! Like it has. He's full of fallacies already.
Yeah. So all right,
Get a
continuing.
fair trial. You cannot. Just like in New York City, you can't get a fair trial.
I'm sure we'll get a no true Scotsman before we're done here.
So that was a comment that he made. So the I can't get a fair trial in New York City because he was just found liable
Guilty.
for
No,
he was found liable for that. So here-
January 6th had to do with the fact that hundreds of thousands of people, and you don't see the pictures very often.
First of all, that's also a bullshit response because there were not hundreds of thousands of people at January 6th. There was roughly about 25 or 26,000 that were
All
there.
30,000 were there.
It's amazing listening to him speak like a
A lot of the
dumbass.
people here probably were there January 6th.
So he just he literally
You
just
guys were there.
lumped everybody in that audience, which is
Yeah.
about 90 people. He lumped every single one of them.
And none of them said I wasn't. So, hey.
Dude, you would have seen me get up. Like, oh, I can't be here anymore.
Oh, it's a town hall. You can make a response. You could, if it had been me, I would have been like, I wasn't fucking there, Trump.
Well, he wouldn't get you in there.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't make the criteria.
Hey, if I would have got in there, I'd be like, hey, fuck you.
Hey, wait a second. I meet at least one of the criteria. I'm white and over the age of 35.
Nah,
That's two.
All he's got to do.
You're white, male.
The Secret Service is
Yeah.
going to check your email. I mean, going to check your Facebook page, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, we can't have him here."
So I've mentioned this before. Trump doesn't use Secret Service except for at a distance. He has his own private security that he bills to the United States.
No, what I'm saying is, you don't think everybody in this room wasn't checked to make sure they were really on Trump's side?
I really do not think that.
Oh, 100%, I do.
I do not.
But nobody to say anything whenever you said all these people were here at January 6th, all these people were definitely there on January 6th, and they know it for sure.
So what you're telling me here is that you believe Trump when he says that he knows that all those people were there.
Oh, 100%, because he probably handpicked all the people that's sitting right there.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they were
love Donald
January
Trump?
6th.
Are you asking me if I love Donald Trump? If he was here and he had his dick out, it'd be in me.
It was the largest crowd I've ever spoken to. That was prior to the walk down to the Capitol building.
Also, his inauguration actually had more people at it than January 6th.
I don't think, and I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of people.
You have
I've never
not.
spoken to a crowd as large as this. And that was because they thought the election was rigged. And they were there proud. They were there with love in their heart.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to stop it. Do you all believe that everybody that was there on January 6th had love in their heart?
Yeah,
All the people that didn't go inside the Capitol, maybe.
No, and the ones that had the love noose. We've all seen.
Yeah.
It was made in the shape of a heart.
Yeah, they weren't saying hang Mike Pence. They were saying
Hug him.
hug Mike Pence.
Yeah.
Hug Mike Pence is
It
what
was
they were saying.
unbelievable, and it was a beautiful day.
Oh my God! First of all,
It would have been crazy if a white man did get hanged.
It was a little overcast.
so
That'd
yeah, I
be
was gonna say
crazy.
not only was it overcast, but it was also raining at times during his speech when what's the lawyer?
That was just Jesus crying because I lost the election.
When Giuliani was doing his speech, claiming that the United States was falling into in disrepair or whatever.
Where his hairline was sweating away.
Yeah. So it was not a beautiful day.
Manhattan jury found that you sexually abused the writer E. Jean Carroll and defamed her. You've denied this.
People
But
are
what do you
laughing.
say to voters who say it disqualifies you from being president?
Well, there aren't too many of them because my poll numbers just came out. They went up. They said he didn't rape her. And
They did
I
not
didn't
say
do
that you
anything
did.
else either. You know what? Because I have no idea who the hell she is.
But Mr. President,
I don't know who this woman
can I
is.
ask you, given
Yeah, just to clarify, the jury did not say that he didn't rape her. They just didn't find him liable for rape.
Well, then I can't remember everybody I raped.
Sound like Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. Like they didn't say he shot her, but they say a gun was shot.
Well, that's like
So
O.J.
somebody
Simpson.
had to go to jail.
O.J. Simpson wasn't found guilty of killing his ex-wife.
He was actually
and her lover.
not guilty.
Yeah.
He was found not guilty for it, but then a jury found him liable or responsible for their deaths.
Yeah, and then he had to pay civil, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's essential because this isn't one of those him raping her and her making accusations against him 30 years after the fact. That is not it's not a criminal charge that he's gotten. The criminal charges are for trying to steal an election. The criminal charges are for leading an insurrection to into a coup. So those are anyway.
you're recounting
I
your
don't know
version.
who, and I tell you this.
But, Mr.
Are
President,
you ready?
can I
swear
ask
on
you
my
because-
children, which I'd never do. I have no idea who this woman. This is a fake story, made up story. Left Washington. We had the boxes lined up on the sidewalk outside for everybody. People are taking pictures of them. Everybody knew we were taking those boxes. And the GSA, the government service, the GSA was the one taking them. They brought them down to Mar-a-Lago. We were negotiating with NARA. All of a sudden, they raid our house. When Biden had his documents, he won't give back the 1,850 boxes.
That's a made-up
And you're
number.
going to find some real gems in there.
But it was
So
Biden
you
who
can't have
alerted
all
them that
these
he had
different
the
sets of-
documents.
all
The
these
National
different
Archives
sets of-
reached out to you to get your documents back. Why did you not turn them over when you got a subpoena
Because we were
asking for you to turn
negotiating
them
with
over?
them. We were
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you don't
that's-
get to
that's
do
where it
that.
is. So they were not negotiating with him. In fact, what they had done, and this is just to point out the facts of the case, what they had done was they literally told the FBI that they had already given. He had already given all the documents, only to find out through somebody dropping that that was not the case. That there were more documents, and that point, because he would not respond, the FBI then came back in. So, all right, we'll discuss it more later. But what we'll do is we're going to go ahead and start the Reading Nothing corner.
And now, the All About Nothing podcast presents the Reading Nothing corner.
Why is it that guys who come from other countries like India, a country that's totally destitute, a country with no medical facilities, decide to stay here after they get their MDs? Why don't they go back and help their own people? No, they wind up here buying expensive real estate. Then they dress normal in business suits and take their wives, wear those saris with their bellies flopping all over the place. It's demeaning to the Indian woman. I don't see Indian men wearing those diapers that Gandhi wore. And what's that to do with the dots on their head? Someone told me the dot is actually a garage door opener. The husband presses the dot, it's opening the double doors on the garage. Look, the Indians are very nice people. They worship cows and make bad movies and have dots on their heads. Then they move into white neighborhoods and ignore everyone in town. They should loosen up. What the fuck book am I reading?
I'm James Earl Jones.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna get some.
And this has been the Reading Nothing.
That's the most racist shit I've ever heard.
About Nothing podcast.
Out of all the pages, Bear, you picked that page.
All right. Well, and honestly, I only picked it because
That's why he asked you to do you reading this week.
No,
He set you up on your birthday.
I only picked that because of the title at the top of the chapter. So that was why.
Did he even read the title at the top?
Yeah, there you go. So if you're on YouTube, you can clearly see which book we were reading from this week.
This chapter, yes, I am Fart Man.
I feel like that gives it away.
Yeah.
If you know who it is, you can email us the show at theallmanothing.com, or you're welcome to tweet us at AAN_pod and tell us which book it was, because Zach is holding it up very clearly.
It's Sebastian Bach.
So, all right, we will take a break. We'll come back here in just a couple minutes. The All About Nothing podcast.
Yeah, it's your boy D-Rock Santana, checking in from the morning after pill. Yo, make sure you check out the All About Nothing podcast with Barrett, Zach, and Trent. It's up.
All right, welcome back to the All About Nothing podcast. I'm Barrett Gruber, joined by Zach King and Trent Clark. It is Zach's birthday today.
It is.
In case you were looking to get him something,
Yes.
there are several stores around Columbia that do actually offer home shipping.
Nancy's Nook.
Nancy's Nook.
This is it. Video store. We also got Spencer's in the mall. And also Hot Topic.
If I get a dildo for my birthday, it's being glued to one of their cars. So go ahead and ship it.
So
Also, D&D anything, I'm down.
yeah.
Oh, I do have a quick story. So Barrett, you and I, we need to put it out there. A D&D episode is going to drop.
Yeah, we actually there's probably going to be several. It's probably going to be spread out over about three different
We
episodes.
spent about 4 hours here on Saturday playing D&D.
I seen y'all nerds up here.
Dude, it was a fucking blast. It was so much fun.
It was good, and thanks to Micah Douglas for
yeah.
being our dungeon master on that, because what he's able to do and the storytelling and how you maneuver the story around to accommodate for what's going on is really cool.
When y'all ready to play some spades and Uno in real games and stuff like that, y'all let me know.
That's right.
Bro, we'll have you as a guest D&D player.
Definitely not doing D&D.
Come on, man.
That's why you weren't on it, because you already told us no.
No.
The
I'm not
next
doing
session
it,
that
no.
we do will just be us playing Monopoly. It'll be brutal Monopoly.
But I do want to say I was supposed to have, when we were there, a D&D rolling tray that also held my dice.
Yeah.
And it breaks apart into being 2 D&D rolling trays. Micah was awesome, brought his own rolling
he did.
trays for us.
He did.
So the D&D rolling tray never showed up, lost in transition. Like,
Oh,
getting
that
to
sucks.
Me. So I was like, well, damn. So what did I do? I was like, well, give me my money back. I had to wait for Amazon to go, like, if it doesn't come by Saturday, then tell us, we'll refund you. They refunded me. Monday morning,
It showed up.
it showed up.
Well, you got your money back.
Well, I got the money back.
Didn't they recharge you?
Yeah.
No, they don't recharge you.
No, they won't recharge. After they've already issued a refund, they won't recharge.
And what's funny is it was supposed to show up via postal service, but it showed up UPS
Oh, okay.
on next day air. So I think it fell in the cracks and someone slapped a
wrong. Yeah.
someone better than
yeah.
us will deliver this for you. I do feel like it was they knew it didn't get there on time, and then they.
Well, if you pay for Prime and you're supposed to get there within the next day,
but it was from a small business, so I think the small business found out it didn't happen, and next day aired me one. Is what happened.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go up there and at least tell them like I did get one. Thank you.
No, don't tell them nothing.
I'm willing to pay for it. Like if it
Come on, man, be a grown man about it.
Trent said take advantage.
Yeah, man, it's your birthday week. You ain't supposed to be paying for nothing.
Well, I'm not a dick.
Not even gas.
I try to give what I get. You know.
Nah, man, take it and leave it.
Oh,
that karma will come back to him.
Nah,
Trent is
karma
taking
was
the,
a real thing. Then
Trent's taking the TMZ approach. They did it. I saw it.
So
here we are.
Speaking of criminals, so a 13-count indictment was unsealed last week in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of New York, charging George Anthony DeVolder Santos, better known as George Santos.
All of those names are fake.
Yeah,
the Republicans are really doing bad before election year, huh?
A United States congressman representing the 3rd District of New York with 7 counts of wire fraud, 3 counts of money laundering, 1 count of theft of public funds, and 2 counts of making materially false statements to the House of Representatives.
This is hysterical. Like the dude didn't have to wait till Brazil gets a hold of him. That's not even counting the check. The check
fraud. Yeah, but the check fraud in Brazil was like for like $1,000 or $1,600 something.
You know who dug up all this stuff?
Crime.
You know who
The
dug up all this
Democrats.
stuff?
It was the Democrats.
No, because he fought with the wrong people whenever he said
It was George Soros and the Jew
when
lady.
he said Disney World. You know, he's having a little fight with Disney World. He thinks Disney World is over
Wait,
him.
Santos or no,
Santos?
this is Santos, not
You're
DeSantos.
thinking DeSantis.
Yeah.
So who's that?
This is the closeted gay Republican.
I don't think he's closeted anymore. Didn't he come out?
I thought he was closeted.
No, he came out.
I think he came out when they were questioning about how RuPaul's Drag Race was going, and he turned around going,
So is that guy?
That was just a circumstance.
Oh, the
but-
one that lied to get in there, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
He said he was black and everything.
like he kept showing
His
up, and
parent-
everyone's
his-
like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, he did
his-
drag shows and stuff. Yeah.
his-
He's
what was it?
He's a little Jewish.
His grandmother his
His
mom
mom died on 9/11.
9/11?
His mom
Yeah,
died
yeah,
on 9/11.
years later.
His grand
Like 20 years later, died.
So
Like, oh.
he also said that his grandmother or his grandparents also escaped from Auschwitz or whatever, and it's like yeah, but they went to Argentina, they were in Brazil or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, but they escaped from Germany before the Allies got there, right?
Yeah.
Is that
They were on the same boat Hitler took. It was like the Mayflower, but it was called the Mindflower.
So apparently at the height of the pandemic in 2020, George Santos allegedly applied for and received unemployment benefits while he was employed and running for Congress.
Yeah, that's illegal.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a pretty big issue with
Yeah,
that.
you can't have a job and claim unemployment.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
A lot of people do it.
that is true, but they find out because if you're employed to somebody that
You filed taxes,
yeah.
dumbass.
Well,
I mean,
but
not
if you-
really. If you do it under the table, you probably can get away.
Okay, yeah, under the table is different.
Like waitresses and waiters
Tips
and stuff. Yeah,
whatnot, yeah. And if you don't make a certain amount, then I think you can also file for
Power to the people.
unemployment.
correct.
So I did want to talk about the debt ceiling a little bit. You guys,
Trent, I'm going to duct tape your hands to the table.
What, man? I gotta make it action.
But it's the same one.
Okay, well, give me some new buttons. I don't want just a bell.
so essentially, you guys understand that we're in a crisis right now with the potential debt ceiling looming.
Yeah, with like the money.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to be running out of money right now?
Yeah, so essentially, what is the debt ceiling? Well, it was created by Congress in 1917. The debt limit or ceiling sets the maximum amount of outstanding federal debt that the U.S. government can incur. So in January of 2023, the national debt and the debt ceiling both stood at about $31.4 trillion. The U.S. government has run a deficit averaging about $1 trillion every year since 2001, meaning that it spends much more money than it receives in taxes and other revenue.
And did not that debt decrease with Obama?
So Obama, yes. So we saw a deficit decrease with Obama. We've seen a deficit decrease with Biden. Essentially with Obama, it was beneficial with Obama because we were coming out of a recession. There was a whole lot of spending to get us out of the recession. Remember, we bailed out a bunch of banks, whatnot. And then as time went on, we didn't spend as much money after that recession. So Obama benefited from that.
Does the ceiling have a problem? I mean, does the ceiling get affected by Ukraine money we just sent over there?
No,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of our spending. Yeah, it's part of our spending because we borrow.
Not my spending. I didn't want to send it.
Yeah, that's well. So
Trent, we live day-to-day lives. We're like, oh, well, I guess I could use a few bombs.
yeah. So to make up the difference, it's borrowed to continue financial payments that Congress has already authorized. So basically the idea is that we have a debt ceiling to. I honestly don't know why we have a debt ceiling because it seems, for the most part, throughout the course of the history of it being in existence, it doesn't actually do anything because every time we approach that debt ceiling, Congress usually works together to come up with moving the debt ceiling up. It's mostly procedural. It's basically just a ritual thing, and it doesn't really because and I've said this before. The United States government doesn't deal in real money. When you talk about trillions of dollars, it's not real.
But we have a credit score.
Yes. So,
the government's credit score is sitting on 13.
Facts. I wish we could just move our credit score up when we wanted to.
yeah. So at the point that the United States, if we default on our debt and we hit that debt ceiling and won't be able to pay any of the Social Security benefits, federal employees will stop receiving their salaries and benefits, veterans will stop receiving benefits. If the U.S. defaults, it could cause a worldwide recession, worldwide freezing of credit markets, stocks could plummet, and we could see mass worldwide layoffs.
But don't we move over to the people who owe us?
So, no, not technically.
You get away this time, South Korea.
Congress can also choose to suspend the debt ceiling, which they have done. Actually, in the last 20 years, they've done several times because it's a really dumb thing.
Yeah, it's called. It has a theme song and everything. It's called Imagination.
That's right.
Imagination.
So why is this a big deal? Well, essentially, the Republicans are holding. They hold control over the House of Representatives, and currently, they are holding the debt ceiling hostage as a way to try to bring down some spending. So just to give you an idea, over the last 30 years, when it has come to spending under the United States, we have always seen a mass amount of spending under Republican administrations and Republican-controlled Congress. It's always been the case. Whether it was trying to fight the communists with Reagan, we spent an unbelievable amount of money on bolstering our military. During George Bush 1, we were at war in Iraq for a period of time. During Clinton's administration, we had a balanced budget, and the debt ceiling or the national debt, the deficit was dropped per year. And then with Bush, of course, we had the war on terror, and then the war in Afghanistan and the war in Iraq, and we spent more than $20 trillion on that or something like that.
Oh, I can solve this right now. And being 35 now, I'm running for president. So me, 2024, simple slogan. You all guys can get with it.
Zach King, 2024.
No, it's me.
Me.
Oh, me.
Yeah, it's all about me. It's no I.
Fucking me.
So.
And so we're going to do this, and let's just, quit building aircraft carriers and cut that military industrial complex budget down a little bit.
Agreed.
And I'll get us billions of dollars every year,
Well,
guys.
how do you expect to pay for Space Force?
Let me toss out another idea.
Call me crazy.
Let me toss out another idea. What is it that our military defends?
Freedom, goddammit.
What does our military actually defend?
Other people.
Our military only really defends intellectual property.
Yes, it is the flexed arm that sails across the world.
Yeah. So if you are Disney or if you are General Electric or you are Lockheed Martin or basically it's the military, our military is really contracted, and I know people are going to disagree, but essentially our military really only protects the intellectual property of the United States, whether it's through cyber terrorism or actual terrorism. Like, that's what they do. Mm-hmm. Our military defends our overseas interests as well as here in the United States, the securities and things like that. My idea basically is, if we know what the actual budget required for our military to exist and defend, then what we should do is that should then be taken and accounted for all of these major corporations and whatnot that have property in the United States and overseas that our military defends, and charge them. Like, create a straight percentage tax of what it costs for our military to defend Disney in France, which they don't. Is that still open?
I mean, I didn't know they had
for
a
sure.
I didn't
Disney
know
World
they had
Open.
one.
Well,
But-
it's almost like they've never played Command and Conquer.
But make the corporations that are already getting away with paying a minimum amount of taxes anyway, make them responsible for the budget for the military.
Yeah, the more shit you have, the more shit you have to pay for. Why does this not make sense? And like the degree of which should be across the board.
Yeah, and also, do y'all think it should be like a mandatory retirement age?
Retirement age for military?
Like, some people stay in the military for like 20-something years.
Yeah, but for the most part,
They can't draft you anymore, Trent, so you're fine.
Well, I'm flat-footed, so they could never.
Oh, they didn't let me join, so we could have that conversation later.
As you age up through the military and you move up, in your postings and your offices and whatnot, for the most part, I don't have an issue with generals that are seasoned being in the military.
No, I don't either.
But
that you got to think about it. If everybody does 20 years plus, that's a lot of money to be paid out.
But but they earned it.
Of course they earned it.
And ultimately,
some of them do.
Well, just to say it, this whole thing is not against the military.
No,
correct. It's about the spending of the military.
Exactly. It's like
because they're not spending that benefit. They're not spending that money on benefits for the military
No,
or veterans.
hell no. The
They're
veterans
spending-
don't get nothing.
It's being spent.
The VA
on,
is the worst place ever.
Yeah, but it's being spent on building planes that we're going to turn around and sell to some of them, selling to
Or
our
just
enemies.
leaving Iraq like we did the other helicopters and shit.
So
we
like
just
in
did.
2001, we had 13,000 troops in Afghanistan and
Something like
Iraq,
that, yeah.
and then by 2011 it was 100 some odd thousand, and then we're in there fucking balls deep.
Yeah.
Pardon my French, I guess, but like and then it turns around. You weren't going to do anything. You were literally just there to like ward off ISIS coming back. As soon as we leave, they take it over.
Correct.
Be fucking more smart about that shit, too.
Not only that, Trump made the deal with the Taliban.
Yeah.
Like if people are pissed off about us leaving Afghanistan, I get it. It was a shit show and it was really messed up what we did. Trump made that deal.
Yeah.
That wasn't Biden. Biden simply had to follow through with the with the plan that Trump had already put in place. That was all Trump's fuck up. Just it pisses me off when people say, "Well, Biden screwed that up." No, Biden didn't screw it up. Biden just should have said, "We're not going to follow through with it."
And that's what happens when you have a president who can't trace the dots on the litmus test and form the fucking camel that was on it or whatever it was, the elephant.
Camera, TV, man, woman.
Yeah, fucking
Dumb
idiot.
shit.
Yeah, maybe Biden can't pass it, but for Christ's sakes, it literally wasn't his fault.
So the reason this is all happening right now is because Republicans almost always, when they run for office, they almost always run on a platform of smaller government and less spending, which if you follow any part
Basically
of history,
conservative. Right?
yeah, it's bullshit because they don't. They say they're going to do this, but what they're going to really do is they're going to come into office and they're going to sit down with the lobbyists from the different contractors and whatnot.
They're going to hire their homeboys
Yeah.
to do the jobs that need to be done.
Did y'all ever? This is kind of sideways from this, but did y'all ever watch the Sandcastle on Netflix with Henry Cavill was in it?
No,
Like they're in Afghanistan or Iraq, and they have to go fix this water pump thing.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing the commercials for it where
Yeah.
the guy was like he had to go back and save the guy because he was helping the U.S. Army. And
That's the Covenant.
oh okay.
It's a little bit older, but basically Henry Cavill's like a sergeant in it for special ops, and they go in and they talk to the guy. He's like, "Listen, we're trying to rebuild your water pump, but they keep fucking with us.
Yeah.
We need the sheik to tell us." And he goes, "Don't translate this. I want to punch you in the fucking face." like it's that kind of shit that they were having to go with. It was a no-win solution. So like when we left, duh.
Yeah.
Like fucking duh. There was the whole thing was gotten into by George W. Bush to prove something that didn't need to be proven. He had to go attack somebody. So somebody had to pay, right?
Correct.
But when it's a cell division like Taliban and ISIS, there's not a country behind it.
right.
But a lot of people lost their job with him just trying. I mean, lost their life just trying to.
Absolutely. Like, and there was a noble cause, and like they're a bunch of bastards. Absolutely.
right.
But like when you go in to fight that, there's not a country behind it, so it's literally kicking over an anthill and trying to like figure out where the answer.
Yeah, because they were going around kicking doors. Like I hear stories all the time about that. Like as far as like how there was, like a lot of people. Like there's one guy on this new Netflix show called I think it's Missing or Dead or Alive or something. It's about Richland County basically. But yeah, they basically did like first 48, but the more in depth version, like they like really spread it out. But it was like the first guy, it was like he was like a Marine, and he was talking about his PTSD and all the stuff he had seen. He was like, I was one of those people that had to be like, I kicked the door in first and cleared the rooms. Like he's like the things I've seen over there. He's like, I was praised over it. He was like, I was praised over there. He's like, I come back over here. None of that shit mattered that I did over there. Because
that's the big fucking drawback, because all of it did matter, and you followed what you were told to do.
Exactly.
Well, and I'm not gonna. I don't want to make it sound like I think that our military didn't do a good job in the Middle East, because I think they did the job that they were assigned to do. Okay. That being said, we literally fought in Afghanistan and Iraq for a reason that was a terroristic attack in the United States. Afghanistan was not responsible for it. Iraq was not responsible for it. The Saudis were responsible for it.
Yeah, the Saudis were not Iraq and Afghanistan.
This was the Saudi government and the Saudi kingdom or whatever. The king. I can't remember what.
And now they got us a fucking golf club.
And look, everybody's like, hey, enough times passed, we're good.
That's not to say that the Taliban didn't,
just like the KKK.
House.
You know,
they definitely housed
the same way.
Terrorist camps that trained the ISIS, and they trained the who was it again? Who was the in Afghanistan? It wasn't just the Taliban. It was the
Taliban and ISIS.
Al Qaeda.
Yeah,
yeah, that's what it was. Al Qaeda.
I'll tell you this about the fucking Saudis. Google Saudis on the interstate. These motherfuckers will open a door on a Camry doing 70 down their interstates, which are just like black tarmac, and skate with their damn sandals on. Have you guys seen this?
Oh, yeah. It's called, I think it's SKOD, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that.
But they'll basically the car will be on the side, and they're just driving in.
Well, dude, they'll open the door, hold on to the door, and be like, just like, having their feet
because they got money to blow.
Well, it's not even that.
Fucking money to blow.
They also have an interstate highway system that virtually no one's allowed to drive on.
Yeah,
like you have like I don't.
Oh,
I don't
they're
know
the only
officially.
ones building. They're building skyscrapers, and then they have the sideways ones. Have you seen that now?
Yeah.
Just going like, what the fuck? I literally at one point had my Black Cobra Mustang, and Saudis wanted to buy it. They wanted me to put it in a container
and send it to Saudi Arabia
for like $70,000.
And you
didn't do it?
No, I tried to.
Oh, you're fucking crazy.
I'd have done it in a heartbeat.
That shit would have been gone.
I'll print the shipping label.
I wanted to do it. The connection I had to ship it broke out, like went down.
Okay.
Like, oh, dude, I would have put a bow on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like, what the fuck else do you want?
Yeah.
You know I can buy 5 of them here.
I'm over here like, I know you got morals about the Saudis, but $70,000. See, everybody got their price.
I'm gonna search YouTube every day for that car.
I'm gonna tell you right now. I have no issue with the Saudis buying our old cars.
They love them, dude. They like a Mustang. Mustang in Saudi Arabia is a Lambo down the street.
I don't even have an issue with selling them planes, but just don't sell them planes for 3 cents on the dollar,
or ones they're gonna put in the building.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. Damn. That's fair, man.
Damn.
Hey.
After this book, Barrett, I don't want to fucking hear it.
Yeah, you're right. We're pretty bad today.
That is a great book.
Yeah,
it really is. It's a really good book.
It's really racist too.
Yeah, you just made me find the meatiest racist.
I don't.
That's got to be the most racist quote I've ever heard in the book.
I didn't even know he was that racist.
I don't know that Howard. Yeah, I don't.
We done lost all our Indian listeners after the day.
Oh my God, we might. They're like, the dots are special. Like, what are you doing?
God damn.
I wanted to
This is not our words. This is HS's words.
Yeah, Howard's.
You can tell. It's Howard Stern's book,
Howard
Private
Stern.
Parts.
Fucking. But we all knew Howard Stern was a little.
Yeah, how is he not? Why does he fucking have a show? What did they not read this?
Facts. Why is he not in cancel culture?
Why was this book in the movie?
How did Howard Stern get past?
Was this part in the movie?
How did Howard Stern get past cancel culture without?
Dude, he made a movie called
scrape?
Private Parts. The name of this book, we're just giving it away. made a movie called Private Parts, and there's not a part in there where he's like, "Fucking Indians, let's talk about this." Because even fucking Gordy, the guy who blew his nose off doing cocaine, is sitting there going like, "I don't think you should say that, Howard."
You're talking about
the best thing Howard Stern did for black people was put Beetlejuice on
You think that was the greatest thing he's ever done for black people?
That's all I've seen.
That's probably the fucking lowest.
I was gonna say that. I think that was probably
That's
the
what
worst.
I'm trying to say. That's where his he doesn't get too much higher.
Beetlejuice, you don't smoke weed? No, I don't smoke weed. Fucking what the fuck? My brain just small as shit. Like, God.
Trent,
damn.
how was the Saturday brunch?
Oh man, lovely man. I stuck the speaker outside. And when I first got there and turned on some music, and I seen the heads start turning and people start coming in.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do this week, we're gonna go ahead and get some flyers made and hand those flyers out to people as they're walking through, so they know what's going on. A lot of people was walking through. A lot of people had dogs that wanted to come in, but so a lot of people really couldn't come in. But
if we get one more patron for $5 a month, Trent will play the hidden track "Feeling All Right." By Technique.
Yes, I will.
So, in case you don't know what we're talking about, so when we did the drag show, and I released that episode actually just a couple weeks ago, they were already in the process of beginning to do the drag show brunch at the venue.
Correct.
On Sundays.
Correct.
Now it starts at 1:00 as well.
We're actually starting. We want to start a little earlier.
Okay.
So music, I think they want to start the show at 12 because they want to kind of like draw people in.
Yeah. Well, and then
when we
City
started
ends
at
like
1. Yeah. So it was kind of like once we started the show, everybody was kind of like already leaving.
Yeah.
So they want to start it a little bit earlier just so we can get people in. So I think it'll work. I definitely see the potential in it. As far as manager-wise, Garrett was happy with the turnout.
Good deal.
And Sunday was even better because randomly WLTX News 19 came in.
Saw Garrett on the
and interviewed Garrett, and then also he came in when we were at our littest. They came in at the right time. Like the timing couldn't be any better because what everybody was so hyped about. I know people really couldn't understand what was going on. An older lady had a back brace and a cane, so it was her birthday. So she came up there. I don't want to give the lady's name out because she might have some insurance claim. So,
jeez.
But she came out like she was walking slow, like she was, like everything was hurting. So she was walking, and then all of a sudden she took the back brace off, dropped the cane, and started twerking, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, she's moving!"
Jesus.
So everybody was like, "Oh my God!" Like I thought she was about to fall, but all of a sudden she just started twerking. I'm like, oh shit. And everybody else just got their phone out, and News 19 came in at the right time, got that clip.
It's WLTX.
WLTX, excuse me. But they came in, got that clip, and it just made us look so good in the light. So I want to thank them for coming out.
Yeah, they're doing God's work, bro.
Man, come on, man. On Sundays and Saturdays now, brother. I'm better than Chick-fil-A. Huh?
And 10 times more crispy.
Fuck you, dog. That was a good joke. I ain't gonna lie.
All right. Well, you guys make sure to check out the venue for the Saturday brunch drag show or the review on Sunday because both.
We're at 1,000. We're over 1,000 people on the review page.
For sure.
Very cool.
Because I get those notifications every day.
Have
we named? Has the Saturday show been named yet?
Correct. It's called the All-Star Saturday brunch.
Okay.
Grand Slam.
Yeah, I think it's the All-Star Saturday brunch.
Zach loves some Denny's.
Goddamn Grand Sandwich. If you ain't had that,
You ain't fat.
That's right. One day, Denny gonna get on this. One day.
If you want every meat in the back of Denny's, get the Grand Slam.
That is it.
Bro, I'm telling you, you're missing out.
I done had it. Believe me, I'm fat. Come on, man. I done had it.
3 fat guys are now out.
The fat boys are back.
All right.
The Grand Slam was backing down. The Grand was backing down.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode.
Great episode, guys, man. Happy birthday again to Zach, man. Taurus season, man. It's hard being a Taurus, but we do it. We do it great.
Yeah, we do.
And shout out to the Aries, I guess. Right?
I'm not Aries.
Oh, you're not an Aries? Well, shout out to Nikki because she's an Aries. But what are you?
Pisces.
Have you seen that sketch where the guy's like, he's like, I'm an Aries. He's like, what are you? He's like, I'm an asshole. And he's like, that's not a
Yeah, it is. It's month
astrological
11.
sign.
It's month 11 through 7. or
Yeah, and
something.
then he's like, what? Ask Gary. He's like, what are you, Gary? He's like, oh, I'm a dickhead.
Thank you, Nick the Geek, engineer and producer, owner and operator of GOT Sound Studio. Check out details on how you can utilize his talent and production expertise at gotsoundstudio.com. Thanks to Muff the Producer. Follow him on Instagram at Muff the Producer. Thanks to Trent Clark, aka DJ Lonzo, currently serving as the house DJ at the main course in Columbia, South Carolina. Make sure to go by and have a good time. You can contact Trent for all your entertainment needs. Trent at theallaboutnothing.com and on Instagram at TheRealDJLonzo. On Twitter at DJ Lonzo Top 5. You can also phone him 803-262-7982. If you enjoy the show, consider becoming a patron by visiting our website and clicking at the link at the top of the browser that will take you to our Patreon page. You can find details on how you can become a supporter, or you can check out benefits there and just consider a donation so that we can continue to bring you this nonsense. We enjoy doing it. We enjoy you enjoying it. As always, you can follow us on Facebook. Just search for All About Nothing US, on Twitter and Instagram at AAN_pod, or you can find links to all of our social media and available podcast platforms by visiting theallaboutnothing.com. If you'd like to be heard on the show, you may call and leave us a message, 803-672-0533. If the time between these episodes is too far apart, you can fill that time by checking out some of our partner podcasts. Zach and I host What the Pod Was That with Carrie Simmons. Visit whatthepodwasthat.com for links and details. Carrie and Chrissy host Status Macabre. You can find details at statusmacabre.com. Ami Bland takes a deep dive down the rabbit hole in episodes of Welcome to Wonderland, available on all of your podcast listening platforms. As well, you should check out our own DJ Lonzo's Top 5, hosted by Trent Clark, available on most of your podcast listening platforms. All right, thank you everybody for listening, whether you're in the United States, India, Norway, Madagascar, Australia, Germany, Mexico, Peru. Thank you very much. We appreciate all of our listeners and support. If you're on Facebook, search for us, All About Nothing US, or on Twitter at AAN_pod. You can follow us and tell us what we're doing is good or bad.
Correct.
If you'd like to support the show, you can also support us financially by heading over to our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com, and clicking on the Patreon link at the top. If you'd like to join the conversation, you can join us on Discord, all with a link at the top of our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. Everybody, you all stay safe and
have a week.
This The All About Nothing podcast is recorded live from the GOT Sound Studio in Columbia, South Carolina. The All About Nothing podcast is produced and engineered by Nick the Geek, owner and operator of GOT Sound Studio. To support the show, please visit theallaboutnothing.com for links to social media, merchandise, and more. Become a patron of the show by following the Patreon link at the top of our page. The All About Nothing podcast is an entertainment product of Barrett Gruber. Special thanks to Zach King, Trent Clark, Muff the Producer, Nick the Geek, and you, our listeners. Please subscribe, rate, review, and share. If you're on YouTube, please hit the like button and the notification bell. Thank you for listening.
The All About Nothing podcast is a product of Barrett Gruber Entertainment and Media.